We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
Welcome to the RedAssPodcast, your home for Aggie sports, barbecue, music, and much more. And now your hosts, Rob White and Roy May.
Howdy guys, welcome back to the RedAss Podcast. Today is Thursday, May 8th, and it is an absolutely beautiful day outside, which is more than said from previous days.
Man, it is. You're right, man. It's gorgeous. It started yesterday, like after the deluge that we had and everything. Then all nice and sunny yesterday. Another gorgeous day today. So if you're somewhere listening to this where it's not nice, we're sorry because it's beautiful outside.
Absolutely. Well, I am Rob White, fighting Texas Aggie class of 2014.
Yeah, and I'm Roy May, fighting Texas Aggie class 2015.
We got plenty to get into this week because it was quite an exciting weekend. It's been like peaks and valleys. It feels like at times, right? It's like you get like those really good highs, those really bad lows, and well, this past weekend was definitely more a hill that we were ended up climbing as opposed to a valley. It was good to see out of both softball and baseball turning around from what was disappointing weekend previous, and then making it far more of a positive weekend this time around.
Yes. Yeah, just the night and day when it comes to baseball. Well, and not just baseball, obviously. Softball went on the road to the number 2 team in the country and won the series and really had a shot to sweep, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And obviously, yeah, the boys look really good. That was the number 2 team in the country. Were it not for an absolutely egregious strike 3 call on White Hensler, who knows how that game goes, because you look, next batter, Caden Sorrell gets up, hits a single. I mean, where does that game go? So it's just, we'll get into the umpiring here in a little bit, but yeah, like you say, little peaks and valleys. It's I think it's been more roller coaster with the baseball team, just
Sure.
in the sense that, the valley was so deep and low, and then the excitement of the run they go on after that awful game in Knoxville, and then you go to Austin and like the bottom drops out on you again. It doesn't end your season, but it hurts because it's your rival. But then to turn back around and get back on the horse, so to speak, have a great series against LSU, and then you're left with 2 series left that are going to define your season, quite frankly. And so I guess we can just kind of get into baseball first.
Sure.
So, yeah, again, you get 2, LSU does what you're supposed to do, avoid getting swept on the road, right?
Right.
Although a number 2 team going to an unranked, you would expect to win that series if you're LSU coming into that series.
You certainly do. And I mean, LSU coming in was certainly a great team. Nobody was going to sit here and deny that. I mean, you're number 2 in the country and have
For a
largely been,
reason.
yeah, but saying you've largely been strong all season outside of your series against Texas. And then you come into College Station and you have a really good pitching performance on really both sides. I really enjoyed what I saw out of A&M starters. Seems like the bullpen is certainly kind of getting their act together a little bit this past week, which was nice. And all of a sudden, the hitting, it's not always there all the time. And even when we were coming back trying to rally in game 3 against LSU, the 2 hits we got were 2 of the cheapest possible hits you could ask for. But then Caden Sorrell comes up, hits a 3-run bomb to take the lead in the bottom of the 8th and completely change the dynamic of the game. And yeah, you got a guy like Jace Laviolette who didn't quite look himself, but he found a way to get on base. And you have a guy like Wyatt Hensler who also hasn't really looked much like himself all the time, but he also gets on base. And so long as you can continue to do that, find ways to win, especially against top level competition. Because I mean, from this point forward, you have faced the toughest possible stretch you could ask for. I mean, you've played number 1 twice. You played number 2 twice. And then you throw in a South Carolina team in the middle of all that. And you walk out of that stretch and you've won 4 of those series out of those 5. Pretty
It's
good.
it's been an incredible run. And again, like, it didn't come crashing down by any means in Austin. It didn't. It just, I think it sucked because we were right there in every game.
Yeah.
And it's the SIPs. So like putting those 2 together, I think is why there was probably a little more hand wringing than necessary, because we showed that we can hang with them. It just, it's kind of one of those things that didn't go our way. But you bring up those two kind of like, boof, barp kind of base hits.
Right.
Those are the things that have not been falling for us all year
Right.
long. And I know that the saying you make your own breaks, and I get that. In baseball, you don't always make your own breaks, man.
Not always.
I mean, I know that you got to make contact with that ball for it to fall, but it's just it felt like finally is a little bit of redemption from some of the stuff that's been happening all season long, and really the kind of stuff that happened like during the whole really downward spiral, right?
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, a couple of those find their way. And it just felt like finally something goes your ways is what it finally felt like. You didn't have to claw and scratch for absolutely everything. It felt like baseball gods decided to shine just a little bit of grace down on you and, reward you for still sticking in there basically and not throwing in the towel when, the way the season was going at one point, it would have been very easy for them to throw in the towel, quite frankly. Come to the ballpark, go through the motions, but just call it a lost year. And so, you
Yeah.
know, yeah, you create your own luck. I get it, but it just felt like no matter what we did, we couldn't get that stuff to work, and we couldn't get the balls to drop, and just finally they did kind of magically. A fantastic series win, absolutely fantastic against the number two team in the country. Um, and now finally you get at least a little bit of a breather this week. Unfortunately, the Houston game getting canceled, that was an RPI opportunity.
It
You know,
was.
I'm shocked that there are people out there who say, well, I'm glad it got canceled. Wouldn't have done anything. It just would have hurt our RPI. I'm like, you have really got to learn to read.
Right.
Because
I mean,
we would
where we sitting currently? Like 35?
yeah, it would have been a 21 point bump if we'd won. It would have been a 29 point drop if we'd lost. But I think that 21 point bump would have brought us up like two or three spots in the RPI.
Well,
And so,
yeah, and it definitely positions us a little better, going
yeah,
into this last couple series.
so it would have been really nice to have that game, quite frankly. And then and we didn't get to see the Houston Love You Blue uniforms, which is
They're always nice.
those are slick, man.
They're always
Uh,
nice.
but so now you've got a weekend, and you can't take a breather. This isn't. We're not going to play, Incarnate Word. Well, I don't know if I want to play Incarnate Word.
Yeah.
You- you're not going to play a Division two. This isn't a scrimmage weekend. This is an SEC baseball team who is, despite not having a single conference win, has shown that they are still fighting and trying.
Yeah.
Damn near pulled it off last weekend, I believe twice.
Yeah.
Just couldn't close the deal. Which when you're in that kind of slump, it's it's almost like it's impossible to close the deal. So I mean, I feel for the guys in Missouri, but that doesn't mean they're not going to come here and want to take a scalp or two. And so this is a big weekend, and we talked about this last week. You can't assume the sweep, right? This is an SEC baseball team that, and I know it's not the exact same team as last year, but last year, I mean, this was a really good baseball team, and there's still plenty of those players on it. And so, there's no assumptions in this. So it's again, go out Friday night with Prager, get out on the right foot, who we'll get on starting pitching in a second, but get on the right foot and sweep this series. You really, really, really need to sweep this series. Because if you sweep this series, in theory, you're in.
Yeah.
But I would love to sweep this series and steal one in Athens.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I think it's a moot point.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the magic number that's been floating around quite a bit has been 3. So if you take advantage and you sweep Missouri this weekend, then yeah, Athens is pretty much just icing on the cake. That's potentially improvement for standing on where you may end up postseason, if you end up doing some work there in Athens. And then you'll see what happens at the tournament after that. But at least at the moment, you got to do what's right in front of you, which is you have 3 games against a Missouri team that, as you mentioned, they are down, and yeah, sure, they're not going to make any postseason deal, but they're still going to fight for it. They're still not, if they can play spoiler for somebody, they're going to try, and this is their best possible shot. So, get them out. They're going to come out here. They're going to play tough, and they're probably going to give us a scare here and there, and it's going to be up to us to get good timely hitting, and hopefully the starting pitching does their job.
See, for me, I don't know that three is the magic number if you don't sweep Missouri.
Right.
So, like
So,
if you go 2-1 against Missouri and you go 1-2 against Georgia and those other two are lopsided, you've kind of played yourself in a pickle. Now, let's back up a moment and say like the last series of the year is not where you blew it. All right.
Right.
I mean, this has been a redemption tour of the second half of the season, basically, because of what the situation that they put themselves in to begin with.
Right.
But um, I think if you go 2-1 against Mizzou, I think you got to get two to Georgia, which is that's a bit of a tall task. But again, I've used that same phrase with softball and baseball throughout the year, saying tall task, and quite frankly, they've risen to the occasion almost every single time.
On the road too. Like that's the other big thing, right? Like these guys have been road dogs. Yes, they've done, they've won some key series at home, no question. Especially this LSU series, that was a big one for us. But we've proven our worth on the road quite a bit this season. And so with you going on the road to Athens, I mean, I don't think us looking at it. I mean, granted, the players, it's all up to their head and what they're really thinking. But if they're thinking, man, we've took care of business at number one, at number two, at number two again, or I mean, we took care of business at number one, at number two, and we were right there with current number one. I mean, Georgia, who are they? Go out there and beat them like you can.
Right. I mean, you certainly played more talented teams than Georgia
You
already,
have,
multiple times.
yeah,
And so it's right there in front of you. And what's funny is both baseball and softball really been kind of road dogs. I mean,
yeah,
softball's 11-2 on the road this year.
pretty darn good,
Yeah, yeah, the only draw
damn
two on
good.
the road is fantastic. And well, and 7-1 in neutral. Yeah, that's just away from Davis. They've been absolutely phenomenal. You're talking about 18-3 record away from Davis.
Yeah.
And so they've both been able to do it on the road, minus that Austin series, really.
Yeah.
That was really kind of the one stinker. And so you expect like that it's graduation weekend. So parking is going to be a nightmare. If you're going to the game, West Campus Garage for Friday and Saturday is open for free parking
Nice.
because you can't park at Reed. So there's your little PSA for the day. So if you're going to the game Friday, Saturday, it is West Campus Garage or park somewhere else and walk. You can park in the historic. You can park in Southgate and walk. It's not that far.
Yeah.
If you're able to do so. Yeah, preface whatever.
Mhm.
But so what you really want to see is a continuation, and this is where I want to get into the starting pitching. They have just been so fun to watch, and they went out. And what's funny is it went directly back to what we talked about last week. We need they're pitching great, but we need more depth out of them, right? We need them to go deeper in games.
Sure.
And what did we saw them go deeper in games?
Yeah.
That was our only complaint, right? Because
Yeah.
at that point you're nitpicking. What can I complain about starting pitching? And really, the only thing that you wanted to see him go is get deeper into the games and take the pressure off of a bullpen that we know, unfortunately, isn't that deep.
Right. And we definitely did see that out of starting pitching. I mean,
All of them.
all three of them have been absolutely outstanding, and that's been great, especially considering what we've lost in the pitching department in terms of like starters as well. Well, not just starters, but looking at the coach we lost, looking at the depth that we're missing. Not having Shane Sadeo in there, not having
Ugh.
all these other cats. I mean, we're hurting. We don't have. I mean, like we do have more or less a closer at this point. We found one.
Can you imagine where we'd be if we had Sadeo right now? Like you're talking about Miles Patton coming out of the bullpen or Shane Sadeo coming out of the bullpen.
I don't even want to talk about it.
It's just depressing. Yeah, let's not talk about it. It's depressing.
Don't make me sad.
But you dealt the hand that you dealt, right? It'd be great to have Grohovic too, but here we are, right?
Right.
We're fortunate to get Sorrell back, who's been an absolute monster after missing 25 games, like an absolute freak.
Yeah.
I posed that who would you draft question on the fan show this morning,
Nice.
and like it gave them pause. And
Good.
they're like, the fact that it even made us pause shows you the kind of heater that Sorrell has really been on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he has just been so fun to watch. And what's crazy is he looked kind of like crap at the plate in the LSU series, and then he's a hero.
Right.
And it's just he's one of those guys where when you're on the mound, you can't take a pitch off, man, because he will absolutely punish you. And what cracks me up is he is not a big dude.
No.
But he has got ridiculous power for his frame.
Yeah.
I mean, that homer he hit, he knew it off the bat.
Everybody did. I mean, the
And,
fact that the camera switches and yet you see the LSU pitcher surrender cobra, you see the shortstop doing a surrender cobra. It's just like they all knew. They knew
and
that the series got blown right in that moment.
it's opposite field power too. It's like it's nothing. It's like he's flinging a little looper out in the left field. I
And it
honestly,
just went.
in some of his homers, I think we've talked about this. It looks like the launch angle looks like it's about 84 degrees. You know, it looks like it's not getting out of the infield and it hits the scoreboard kind of stuff. And
Right.
so he's just been so fun to watch. I'm thrilled we get him for another year, by the way. Him and
Yeah.
Grahovac together are going to be awesome. Um, but yeah, so this obviously not looking forward to Georgia, but same with Mizzou, big series. And I think it's been very obvious that we as a team have not overlooked people. We haven't, looked past opponents. It's just we couldn't gel in the beginning of the season, and we're seeing this team gel. Is
Right
there
time.
improvement to be made? Yes.
Yeah.
Is the SEC tournament going to give us any help at all? Probably not. They've shown that the tournaments don't really do much. Maybe if you could do something in the early rounds, but by the time you get to the end of the tournament, man, everything's already been picked. They basically have everything lined up, minus if somebody wins their conference tournament. But they know who the first four out and the next four out. They already know all this, so all they have to do is plug and play if there's any surprises at conference tournaments.
Right.
And so by the time you get to Sunday of the conference tournament, it doesn't matter. It does not matter unless you weren't unless Missouri is going to win the tournament,
Right.
which would be the most hilarious thing on the planet for Missouri to come out of the blue with zero. Like, I want them to go over and I want them to win the conference tournament.
That'd be hilarious.
I think that would be one of the greatest stories literally of all time.
Right. That would be impressive.
You win the SEC and you're a 4 seed.
Right. Yeah, you win the SEC, and all of a sudden you're a 4 seed because you went 0 for in conference play. Like you go 0 and 30 in conference play. But
I mean, tell me that wouldn't be the most hilarious story ever, though.
it'd be incredible. I mean, I could totally see them. I could totally see that timeline panning out just because baseball and it's goofy.
Because baseball and 30 for 30.
Right.
Or they could call it 0 for 30.
0 for 30.
0 for 30 for 30. See, I've already got it. See, these things write themselves, man. Sports, I'm telling you.
We have our clip for Instagram. Perfect.
Yeah, they call it 0 for 30 for 30. It would be the greatest redemption story probably in the history of baseball. Like, there's been some really bad teams win their conference tournaments, but I would be willing to bet at no point in the history of college baseball has there been a team go 0 for in conference and win their conference tourney. So I'm rooting for them to lose out, and then I'm rooting for them to run the gauntlet, man.
Why not? Just
Dude,
go for it.
Oh, I would die, man. Yeah, I'll be pulling for Mizzou. No lie. I'm not kidding.
All right.
All right, so let's switch over to softball.
Softball tournament.
Yeah, they are in conference tourney. And their first game is actually today. It's at 7 p.m. or 25 minutes. I hate that so much. It's either 7 p.m. or it could be 9 p.m. If the other game's going to extras. So far, so good, though. Other games have been pretty, no extra inning, nothing crazy. OU won their game. They were the first game of the day. And then I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, Tennessee, Arkansas next.
There was a second game already played today.
Yeah, it's probably Tennessee, Arkansas then.
No, it's done.
Oh, is that one done?
Yeah, yours may not be updated. Who was I believe the 5 seed beat the 4 seed. So whoever the 4 seed was lost.
Tennessee lost then.
Oh yeah, that's right. Tennessee lost, and now we're on the next game. I believe it's Ole Miss and somebody.
Ole Miss and Texas.
Ole Miss and Texas, right? And so for me, so we're the number 1 team in the country, but we lose out on winning or at least co-winning, the conference trophy because that stupid game gets canceled at Georgia, and so OU wins it literally because of weather. Literally, that's it. They won because of weather. But it's interesting in softball, and I can't remember the last time I saw this in baseball where the number 1 ranked team didn't end up being the number 1 seed.
Right, but once again,
so softball is just a little bit different. If for those of y'all that don't follow softball, there's a lot of really really freaking good teams, right?
Right.
And the top 3 or 4 just kind of did a little shuffle back and forth the last few weeks, basically.
Yeah.
And so even though they were the number 1 team, there's been a lot of rumblings about OU being the number 1 seed. And so to me, if you want to lock down the number one seed, you kind of got to match OU shot for shot.
Yeah.
So since OU won, we need to win today,
Well, I'd
right?
say win today, and then I would say just go on to win this whole dang tournament. Just do it.
Yeah. If you can win the tournament, great. I think worst case scenario is you end up in the final with OU because then you're literally showing, are you going to be the one seed or the two seed? Winner takes one, loser takes two.
So in reality, so Arkansas beats Tennessee, so Arkansas faces Oklahoma. We saw what Arkansas is capable of last weekend. We know they're
They
not a
got some
bad team.
hitters.
Yeah, we know they're not a bad team. A&M wins, let's say Texas, let's say everything goes to chalk the rest of the way. Texas wins, A&M wins. Congratulations, you get your Lone Star Showdown out of softball.
But Texas 3 seed, right?
They are. They're the
Yeah,
3 seed, we're the 2, and that would be
that's
that
right.
next round. So if we win that one, then you play Oklahoma and you find a way to win that one. Yeah, congratulations. You're number 1 overall, no dispute.
Well, look at it this way, though. So Arkansas just beat a Tennessee team who, even though we beat them, we're the number one team in the country.
Yeah.
A Tennessee team that when we played them, we're the number 2 team in the country.
Yep.
So Tennessee's a good ball club. If Arkansas was able to do that, and I get that OU has some pitching, and you could say that ad nauseum every year you look back at OU softball since probably I was 11. But that's gonna. I tell you what, that's gonna be a great game to watch. I think the OU Arkansas game is gonna be really interesting because Arkansas has some mashers, like straight up, like they can stroke the ball, dude.
Mhm.
And so, if we can go chalk and we get the Sips, I like our chances against the Sips. I like our chances against anybody, obviously.
Right.
That's come on. If you're the number one team in the country, you shouldn't be walking as an underdog anywhere.
No.
So you get to the Sips, and man, if you play OU, for me, I think there's some style in there too. OU didn't run away with the game. Can we like absolutely annihilate them tonight? Right? Like, can we run rule somebody in the SEC tourney? Like, can we run? I mean, can you pull 2 run rules in a row and then lose a tight one to OU? Man, if you do that, to me, you're still the number 1 seed. Now, and again, I know we're really nitpicking here between being the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed. I mean, we really are. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Is it really going to matter in the grand scheme of things? It shouldn't. You're getting to play at home all the way until Oklahoma City.
Right. I mean, we're gonna be in prime position one way or the other at this stage. Like nothing's really gonna hurt that.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to drop from 1 to the 7 seed, or some crap like that. So it's, but they do need to pick up a win here. I sure, bring the Sips on since we didn't get to play. We didn't play Texas or OU this year. They got lucky, quite frankly, in the scheduling again. Oh, wow.
Who would have guessed?
Shock across my face.
Well, I'm going to be curious, just as a sidebar, I'm going to be curious to see if that pans out season over season. Like at some point they got to get a real taste of all this.
Yeah.
At some point.
In a lot of sports.
Yeah.
So, tournament's shaping up to be really fun to watch from here on out. I haven't had time to sit down and watch it, quite frankly. I've seen a couple of highlights here and there.
Yeah.
Georgia playing some damn good defense like always. And them getting to play in their home park because it's in Athens this year, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so obviously going to be some high level softball played because the SEC tournament, when you're talking about being chalk, that's some of the best teams across the country, period. So probably some of the best softball you'll see until Oklahoma City, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited to watch the game tonight. I'm going to follow the rest of the tournament because there's only a handful of games left, and then I've got time. So that's part of it. Yes,
wraps up on Saturday. So
yeah. So I'm looking forward to what Trisha Ford can do in the tournament, and just kind of where they end up seeding wise. I'll just be really curious. It's not a huge deal whether they're 1 or 2. It's just really not. But to me, they've earned it. And the only reason that they're not co-champions literally is because of Mother Nature. That's it. It's the only reason, because I'm telling you they would have beat Georgia. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would have disputed that. So unfortunate that we don't walk away with the trophy there, but go out there and earn one this weekend. If you can, go out there and just do it.
Well, and that's one of those things, in softball, with the ability to run pitchers out there for 120 pitches at a time and pitch on multiple days, this isn't like you get the SEC tournament, you pitch a couple, and you play a couple, and you're like, all right, we got to start saving some arms. In softball, it's different. Like, if you're out there playing, man, and I know that baseball is going to be the same, and they'll at least say the same. Like, if we're playing to win. But there does come a point in baseball where you're burning some pretty important arms. In softball, it's so much harder to burn those arms. Now, unfortunately, they do have a pitcher that's hurt right now. Hopefully, he's going to be okay by the time the postseason comes around. I know they're still working with her,
Yeah.
but the other freshman, not lesson team, what's her name? Grace with an M, Merlin, something like that. She's shown some interesting stuff because she's one of those lower velocity pitchers. So you're concerned, if she comes in, Munnerlin, isn't that her name? Munnerlin, I believe. But like you come off like if you have Emily Kennedy in the circle and she's throwing 70 mile an hour, it's 71 miles an hour, and this girl comes in throwing 61, that is a severe drop in velocity. And so I think it's Katie Marlin. Nice. Their number's like 99 or something like that.
Is she like number 99?
Yeah, I think she's like number 99.
Oh, that's Kelsey Mathis. That's
No,
outfielder.
oh no, not 99. I don't know. I feel like she's got a high
Oh,
number.
I got you. It's Kate Munnerlin.
Munnerlin. Yeah. So she's done some real promising stuff with lower velocity, with lower velocity stuff. She's in the low 60s, but she's got a filthy drop ball. She'll throw a changeup on any pitch. She doesn't care. Like she just doesn't care. And so we talk about this in softball probably every year. You have to have an ace. You have to, right? Because you can throw an ace 120 pitches 2 out of 3 days. But like you've got to have that depth to where like putting somebody else out in the circle basically means you're hoping to maybe win. So you've got to have that depth there. And that's what Trisha Ford has done. And what's impressive is some of the contributors are freshmen. And to me, that's amazing because they have 3 years of development to go under Trisha Ford.
Yeah, no, that's always impressive to see. And you don't see nearly as much movement around. I feel like as far as like these players jumping ship going left and right in softball at this stage. I mean, you got to think, especially with what we've got going on with Trisha, she has proven herself as not only a great coach but a great developer of talent. And now that we have this new softball league rocking and rolling too.
Right, and we had a guaranteed draftee, and so you look at also you're going to lose players because they're not playing enough. It's just
Right.
there's going to be roster attrition on both ends, and coming and going basically. But she's shown that she can go out and pluck a big player. I mean, Mac Barbara's what Pac-12 Player of the Year,
Yeah.
Pac-10, whatever the hell it was, Port dissolved 16. I don't know, whatever.
That's something.
That's the Pac.
The Pac.
Rip. But she's shown that she can go out and identify a couple of big time players and bring them in. So, and I know that we've been successful, but a lot of that is her ability to recruit and to show the development. And now to have the Emily Kennedy say, "Hey man, we got somebody in the league now." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So why don't you come play with us, come play for us? And she won't be the only one that goes to that league from A&M, guaranteed. So there's plenty of talent on this team. And so she's now going to be able to show a pipeline to literally professional softball. And so for me, all it is don't let her go anywhere.
Yeah. Keep her around.
You don't have to give her a Jimbo extension, but you can be close in the softball world relative to that. Like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, what is she going to be missing out on? I mean, you've got one of the best stadiums in college softball. You're already at the dead center of this recruiting base. I mean, what else can you ask for? And you have an athletic department that's willing to put some money behind you.
All right, so I just looked it up, what Trisha Ford makes a year.
Sure.
I'm a little staggering. Honestly, I thought it'd be higher.
No.
She makes $477,500 a year. Yeah, okay. Like, and I understand that outside of football, A&M doesn't have any revenue generating sports. I understand that, and that's great. But can we at least focus on the ones that are bringing in trophies? And I know that we haven't won anything yet, and I get that. But she's really damn close, and this is a hell of a product that she's put on the field now multiple years, starting from when she showed up. Like, there was she didn't need a grace period.
No.
Because she's that good of a coach, and tip of the cap to her assistant coaches as well. It's not just her; it's Russ Hensley and damn it, as soon as I decided to remember his name, I couldn't remember it. But the staff she has assembled, they came with her. They're a tight knit group. They're obviously good at what they do. They're very happy being together. We just have to make sure that we keep them here. So I think we can pay her a little bit more than less than $500,000 a year. Now I'm not saying we're going to pay her $3 million a year. That's bonkers talk.
No, but you can afford to give her, something a little bit more than that. Yes, I'll slap myself on the hand. It's fine. I had to get the pun in. I'm sorry.
That was very punny of you. Yeah. So, but yeah, a lot of excitement. Obviously, it's probably, I don't want to sound like a jerk, probably a little bit more excitement with softball because we're at tournament level, just because of how the seasons work out. But obviously, still excited about baseball.
Yeah,
I hope the crowds are great. It is graduation weekend, so hopefully the place is just absolutely jam-packed
I bet it will be.
for them. I'm sure it'll be absolutely insane. And I don't want them to feel pressured to sweep, but man, a sweep would go a really long way.
It would. I mean, we've said it before. We'll say it again. I mean, you just take care of your business this weekend. So if you can sweep Missouri, the road to the postseason gets a lot clearer. And so
Yes.
long as you make the tournament, that's all that really matters. If we're a 3 seed somewhere, everybody's going to be pissed in that regional.
That one seed's not going to be very happy.
No, they're not. They're going to be pissed that we're a 3 seed in that regional because I mean
Yeah.
you're basically going to get the equivalent of two seeds in your regional, wherever
Yeah.
that might be. And I guarantee you, they're not going to much care for that. And you know, I continue to pray. You know where I want it to be so bad. I want to go to West Virginia because you know they don't want any part of A&M in the postseason. They know
Yeah, it's pretty
they'll have
funny.
PTSD because last time they hosted a regional was 2019.
Bryce Blom.
Blom bombs out here. And apologies, Matt. I know I forgot his name last week. That was unfortunate. And I had to dig through my head. It's just one of those deals, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm old and I'm tired. I can't remember all the players from all over. From all,
the Greta. How dare you?
how dare you? I got to do better on that. I want to pivot real quick. I want to throw out a special shout out to the Dallas Stars. You know, they're cruising along.
Dude, Mikko Rantanen is ridiculous. That game, his last two games, you talk about back-to-back hat tricks? Get the hell out of here, bro.
Yes, sir.
But that's exactly why they went for him. That's exactly why they traded for him. And
Mhm.
I think the funniest thing in the planet was when they were still playing with the Avalanche. An article came out, and I just saw it. I didn't read it, but I saw the title, and I was just dying. It said, "Why Mikko Rantanen is the kind of guy that the Avalanche needs."
Yeah,
They had him.
they had them.
Dude, it's like the most backhanded article, like headline ever, which is fine with me. I'm so sick of playing the freaking Avs. But yeah, dude, super exciting to go up into Winnipeg and grab the first one, especially when Winnipeg jumps on it first, and you're like, shit.
Right.
It's Winnipeg's on this great high, and I know that they're able to separate. I understand that professional athletes at that level can separate, but can they totally? Can they really totally separate from the fact that they were 1.6 seconds away from being eliminated, and then actually, in fact, they scored like twice in the last 2.5 minutes.
Right.
And the last one being 1.6 seconds left, and then they go on to win in overtime. Like, first of all, if you're a St. Louis Blues fan, bro, you are probably still well inside a bottle of whiskey. Like you've probably not crawled out of your drinking phase on this one yet, because like as amazing as that was to see Winnipeg do, like, and it's not heartbreaking. I got no love for the Blues, but
Right.
like just like empathy for a sports fan,
Right.
like just absolute rip your heart out. And so but so Winnipeg comes out and you're like, crap, they're still kind of on this heater because they score early and they look good. Like Winnipeg looked good. Uh, uh, Jamie Benn probably had the worst game of his playoff career.
Yeah.
Like he just looked like straight trash. And I don't expect that to continue, but it's just one of those games you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what is actually happening? Like, do you not travel well into Canada? Is that the problem? Like, what are you doing? But Mikko Rantanen saves the day to have Heiskanen and have Jason Robertson back. Just and then it's playoff hockey. It's just
Yeah.
it's the greatest playoffs of any professional playoffs, and it's not even close.
Pretty excellent. I'm glad that we're
So,
seeing
yeah,
some. I'm glad we're seeing some good stuff out of our local team. I will say this though. I will support the Stars at this stage of the game the moment Houston actually gets a team.
I told that to Megan the other night. She said, "You'll never not be a Stars fan." I told her, I was like, if Houston gets an NHL franchise and they call it the Arrows, I'm out on the Stars.
I already have I say I had the color scheme kind of built out. I've always somebody pitched out an idea for the arrows, but it's kind of like doing Love You Blue primary.
With the old Arrows logo.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think you've seen it to
With
me. One that
red
looks
and
like
maybe a little bit of navy blue in there just to sprinkle in
yeah,
for a little bit of conformity across Houston. But yeah.
you need to post that back out, dude. Like Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll probably get stolen, just like
Probably.
baseball Sarge. But
We're not going there, man. It's fine. It's okay. I
dude, yeah, the mock-up is great. But honestly, like I love the Stars. I've always loved the Stars. Are the only hockey team I've had to root for in Texas.
okay.
I love the Rangers before the Stars moved out of Minnesota.
Right.
But as soon as they came to Texas, I was like, I'm a Texas guy. I got to root for my Texas hockey.
Right. Let's quick sidebar. New team name for the Utah hockey team. We are now the Mammoth, the Houston Mammoth. Did you see this?
The Utah?
Utah's new team name is the Mammoth. Go look it up. Pull up a picture of the logo real quick. It's actually kind of neat. I liked it. It does kind of look like a create a team from Madden like '03, but you know what? I like it. It incorporates some of the mountains into the main. It's kind of neat. Keeping the color scheme too.
I like the background. I think the logo, like I think,
Like I said,
I don't know.
it's very creative team in its own
Yeah,
little, but I don't hate it. I will say somebody did one. I'm going to send it to you really fast because and if you want to check it out, I've already posted about it on Twitter, so go look at it there. But somebody actually did a mock-up of a quote unquote throwback that they should do for a game or two just to pay a little homage to where they came from because this is I guess what is it, Arizona Coyotes originally, then get transferred over to Utah. Check this out.
that's not bad.
I kind of love that as like a throwback. Like it's a brand new team, so obviously it's not a true throwback, but a faux back to the original club. I think that's kind of neat.
Well, and the hockey stick blade is a tusk as well. Like it's
Yes.
done very well. So if you could somehow incorporate the mountains into his head in the background, I think you've got it.
Right. For anybody who's watching on YouTube, you can see it right here. But yeah. So that was a fun little
So
deal.
so what's their slogan? The Utah Mammoth. We were dead before we started.
So here's the deal. So their hashtag is Tusks Up, but here's what's ironic. There has been a lacrosse team out of Colorado that was also the Mammoth, and their hashtag has been Tusk Up forever. And they are pissed about
Oh,
it. Like it's been a whole back and forth on Twitter, but to that point, I mean, there has been a lot of teams that have shared names in professional sports in the United States alone. You've got obviously New York Rangers, Texas Rangers. You've got the New York Giants. You got the San Francisco Giants. They both used to be the football
the
giants,
New
baseball
York
giants.
Football Giants.
Right, football giants, baseball giants. Like that was a thing. Panthers. You got Panthers in football. You got Panthers in hockey. Like it's just a thing. I mean, Kings in hockey.
Yeah,
Kings,
but
you know?
I will say one thing, and I say this with a staunch history of lacrosse support and a former lacrosse player.
Sure.
You're going to lose out to an NHL team.
Always.
Like, no
Not the
offense.
big
And I'm
four.
telling you, lacrosse is the fastest game on 2 feet, period. It absolutely is. I love lacrosse.
It's fun.
It is the only true American sport. It was invented by the Native Americans. It is a fantastic sport, and it just will not catch on.
No,
They tried everything. They
it
tried
would be
everything.
cool. I would love to see lacrosse be big because it's a cool sport. It's a fun sport to watch. But yeah, it just doesn't carry the same weight. I mean, when you're not one of the big four, you're not football, you're not basketball, you're not baseball, you're not hockey. I mean, soccer's never going to break into that. I mean, outside,
But lacrosse is never going to surpass soccer.
exactly. Like
It's
lacrosse
just
isn't going to get above that threshold.
it sucks. Lax is just it's such a fantastic sport. Problem is, I think about the only way you could probably market it would be an indoor league.
You would have
And
to
even
start
then,
there. Yeah.
I'm sure they've tried that because so we always started our season with an indoor tournament. It's the only indoor lacrosse we played, right?
Yeah.
But man, indoor lacrosse, you want to talk about a high speed game.
Yeah.
Like it is an absolute ton of fun.
And plus, you
But
could whack people with sticks. I mean, come on now.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, it's a shame it'll never catch on. But so it as far as like naming and people being angry about it, I got to be honest. No, you might be the most popular lacrosse club in all of the United States, and nobody knows you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what somebody said. I'm gonna pull a Ron White bit. It's like, well, I mean, what did you expect? Talking about Tiger Woods and his wife, and like, well, he's been with all these women. It's like, well, then don't marry the most famous golfer in the world. Marry the most famous frisbee golfer in the world. Ain't nobody in line to screw that guy. That's the idea, right? It's like if you want, I mean, that's just the reality of it. Like lacrosse doesn't carry that weight. It just doesn't. We would love for it to do so, but the reality is you're
It
having
never
to
will.
cut out of a market that's so heavily starts like we look at soccer, right? Soccer is the big one everywhere else, it feels like. You do get like other regions where like obviously Australia, you've got Aussie rules football, which is highly entertaining. You go into the island nations and they're really big on rugby. But the reality is, round kickball is the sport that is internationally known and loved because everybody can do it and everybody can pick it up and play.
Correct.
You don't have to have an extraordinary amount of skill to play soccer. Like it's not like you have to have this certain build, you have to have this certain body type. If you're
Yeah,
in,
to just pick up the game, like literally all
right,
you need is a ball, and that's one of the reasons why it is the world's most popular sport, is because it doesn't require any sort of equipment.
nope,
Get like you don't need goals, man. Like you
no,
don't. You need a ball, and that's all you need. And that's like when we were in Iraq. You're trying to play this hearts and minds game, and they used to give us big sacks of soccer balls so we could give to the kids, so they wouldn't hate us or throw crap at our vehicles and.
right,
Um, but it's true. It's the global sport because it's the easiest sport to play. It requires no buy-in.
right,
Like golf is wildly popular. Golf's expensive as shit, right?
very.
Look, and
Softball's
lacrosse.
expensive. I
I'll tell
mean,
you what, lacrosse is an expensive sport.
as
The
is
equipment
baseball.
is expensive. It's all travel. It's rarely picked up by any club. So if you're playing, like when we had a lacrosse team back in high school, it was a club sport, and so we had to drive ourselves to our own games. We had to have all our own equipment. Like the only thing that was done for us was scheduling. That was it.
Yeah,
Like, and they went out and bought a couple of goals. Like each school had goals. That was
yeah.
it.
Well,
So it's such an expensive sport, and just soccer's not.
it's that one's not expensive, and neither is basketball, right? I mean, in reality, what do you need for basketball? You need a pair of shoes. And most of the time, if you're going into, any other setup to go play, I mean, you're going to have uniforms provided. All you really need your shoes. And soccer, I mean, yeah, you need boots, you need your cleats or whatnot, but
Kids play barefoot. Kids will play barefoot, man. I'm
they'll
telling you.
play barefoot.
Oh,
Exactly.
well, and that just in furtherance of that, that also tells you why football is so popular. Because once you hit middle school, everything is provided for you.
Yep.
Because I don't care what you do in Pop Warner, bro. That doesn't relate to anything. It doesn't. Like, okay, so you're the fastest 7-year-old. Nobody gives a shit, right? But once you get to middle school, it's all provided for you for the rest of your career as long as you play.
Right.
So if you're athletic enough and you can run and you can catch, or you're big enough and you can shove somebody around, only in the like specific skill positions is there money involved in the side coaching. And I get that the world that it's come to now, like, but some of these kids aren't doing this side coaching. They go to the free camps, they lift weights in the free gym, they wear the free pads, and they go hit the shit out of somebody for free.
Right.
And that's what football is once you hit seventh grade.
Right.
And maybe sixth grade in some states, but I know in Texas it's seventh.
Seventh grade.
And so everything is free, so the popularity is easy. If you're an athletic kid, you can handle being in pads and handle getting hit. Football's your game, man.
Yeah.
Because not everybody can shoot a 3-pointer, but everybody can run into somebody.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other side of it, right? It's just like if you look at the average American these days in your development and your age and whatnot, we're generally just bigger people. Just
Yes.
fact of life. So, I mean, you can be an athletic, offensive
Not
lineman.
bigger than it used to be.
I mean, you can be offensive lineman, you can be a defensive lineman, but then you've got all the different skill players and you've got options for things that you can do, and I think that's true of virtually every sport, right? You've got, certain body types that match up to certain positions, but
Outside of a few,
outside of a few, yeah.
we could probably name outside of a few in basketball, if you can't shoot, you can't play.
Right.
Like Dennis Rodman, Charles Barkley, Shaq.
Sure.
But
Big bit.
Shaq could still shoot, and so he could shoot where he was expected to.
Right.
Dennis Rodman getting at the broadside of a barn, but he could pull down 21 rebounds a game.
And that's
So
where his value was.
it's a tiny, but it's a tiny, couple of handfuls of people in the history of basketball have been successful without being able to shoot.
Right. So
Yeah, in baseball,
very offensively focused game. You're right.
yeah, in baseball, if you can hit well enough and your fielding is stupendous,
Yeah.
then you can play. If your fielding is good enough and you can mash, you've got a future. In soccer, if you can run and you can possess the ball and you can shoot, like there's so many different positions within the soccer field, and again, a virtually free sport.
Yeah.
That there's a place for just about everybody on a soccer pitch.
Right. And if you're lanky and quick enough in terms of your reflexes, I mean, there you go. You got opportunity to be a goalkeeper.
Right.
You've got options. But on a slight pivot, because
we just went down an incredible rabbit hole.
I was going to jump in on a little soccer action. So Champions League semifinal just wrapped up, and Arsenal,
Tottenham, and somebody.
No,
I'm sorry. Europa's today.
Europa's today. You had Champions League yesterday, and of course, Paris Saint-Germain sends Arsenal home. Arsenal. Oh no, Arsenal doesn't have a trophy again. Me. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm not sorry.
Yes, I'm about to say sorry, not sorry.
I am certainly not sorry at all. I was actually curious about Europa. I'm going to look that up.
Tottenham full time. They beat some team out of that looks like Icelandic, maybe.
Who is that?
I would guess Iceland or because they got the line through the O. I don't know. So they'll go into the finals to play
Norway. They're Norwegian. But still.
Yeah, so they'll go into the finals to play should be Man United unless they totally bottle their semifinal. And it's funny, I was talking with Richard Zane earlier. He's a big Tottenham guy.
Right.
And you know what? I hope you both lose. And he looked at me, he said, you know what, with the season we're having, the two teams in this entire planet that could both lose this final game will be Man United and Tottenham.
Yeah. I mean, I'd fully.
I just hope both teams don't have any fun.
No, not at all. I mean, that's a team I don't love up north, and that's a team that y'all don't love down south. So,
yeah,
it's fine.
Well, and that team up north, there's a lot of people that don't like them.
Well, naturally. And of course, they can't hold like any trophy crap over Liverpool anymore now, because we're both on level terms.
I'm going to be honest. I have not heard a lot of Man United fans chirping at all this year, quite frankly.
For good reason.
About anything. The only chirping they've been doing the last season and a half is at their ownership.
Right. Because, I mean, I don't blame them. It's awful. Terrible situation over there. They're not.
I think it's fantastic.
Well, yeah. Obviously, for fans of anybody else, we don't.
Well, that's the problem is Man United fans they were so atrociously arrogant for so long. I mean, and it's one of those it's easy to hate the bandwagon kind of teams.
Sure.
And Man United is easily the biggest bandwagon team of any sport in any country on the entire planet in any league. Man United is absolutely the biggest bandwagon, and that's because of popularity of sport. I know people are going to say the Yankees and the Lakers, but generally Yankees and Lakers fans are also Man United fans.
Ironically. And you could throw the Dallas Cowboys in there, but man, oh man, is it tough to get behind them these days.
Well, Jerry Jones has done everything in his power to get rid of all his bandwagon fans.
Which is all the more reason why it's kind of funny seeing how Man U and the Dallas Cowboys kind of have very similar deals, right? They were both real big in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Poor ownership.
Yep.
Just a fact of life. But yeah, well, that was about the extent of our excitement today. It's all been great and good. No complaints.
We have not stayed on topic whatsoever. So if you're still here, if you could in the comments, tell us how the hell we got here.
Just spiraling down the rabbit hole of other sports, which is always fun to do. But be sure to follow us on our socials, of course. That's Rob the Slapper on both Instagram and X, Roy May 15 on X, Roy May Jr. on Instagram, as well as the RedAssPodcast on both. We'll be posting. we posting out all that. Should be nice and good to go here. So I pray that all of y'all have safe travels this weekend. Go out there. And speaking of which, of safe travels, we're going to Broken Bow, Oklahoma, and
Okay.
Houston, Texas this weekend. So we're going from Broken Bow all the way back down to Houston. But I'm excited because I get to play 2 sets on Saturday. I'm actually filling in with the opener. Been learning their
Oh,
set.
nice.
Yeah, it's a buddy of ours named Austin Upchurch. He's amazing. If y'all haven't heard him, y'all should. He's got great music.
You better hydrate, man.
Yeah, I'm about to be sweating up there for 2.5 hours playing a show. So that's gonna be fun. Will be 3 hours total, between
Yep.
that and the changeover. But I'm excited for it. Should be a lot of fun to play those 2 sets. First time I've done a fill in basically 4 years, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, that's gonna be a good opportunity to just go out there and have ourselves a nice little jam. But
Congratulations to all the graduates.
yes,
Apologies to all the people that live here for this weekend.
that's why we're leaving. Getting out today.
I've actually got to go to Beaumont on Saturday for some American Legion stuff. So on
Fun.
that note, I'm going to plug it again. May 26th, Memorial Day, we'll be in Veterans Park, the American Legion, the College Station VFW, the Marine Corps League, and we got Reese Across America. They're actually going to be there as well. Short program from 11 to 11:30. After that, we'll be giving out hot dogs, chips, and water for free. Going to be some games out there, just time to mingle and all that good stuff. Again, program will only be about 30 minutes. My father will be the keynote speaker, class 66, Vietnam vet, 2 Purple Hearts, Maroon band commander back in the day, and RV first sergeant. So no idea what he's going to talk about, but my job is just to make sure he doesn't talk too long. But he's a fantastic orator. He taught history at West Point. He's taught business classes. He's finally retired from working. But yeah, so if you're in town and you're so inclined, by all means, we'd love to see you out there. So it's a community family friendly event.
And one additional plug to throw in there, of course, as of last week as well. So coming up, that'll be on May 15th. We're going to be doing the Music in the Moonlight over there out at Lake Walk Events Center over there by the Stella Hotel.
Oh yeah.
Right, and that'll be on Wednesday. You're going to have Dub Miller there, along with Lucas Jagno, Molly McDonald, who's a current student. And they just added Django Walker as well. So there'll be some good entertainment to be had over there. If you're wanting to go check them out, if you want more information on that, be sure to go look up the Brazos Valley Live Music Association on Instagram. They have all that information for you. But
And if you haven't been over there, it's a really cool venue over there by
it
the
is.
hotel. That is.
Yeah, no, it's a good time out there, and they've been doing a lot of good on the musical front, just having bands and whatnot come in, play, either smaller series or even getting local acts. So be sure to go out there and support some music as we're getting into kind of the slowing down portion as the semester starts to wrap up. Go out there and have some fun before Memorial Day weekend. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so I am.
Enjoy the weather before it gets to be 130.
Yes, yeah, temperatures are going to start climbing this next week. We are finally going to get into that summer pattern. So enjoy the cooler weather that we've been living in while it lasts, because it's about to be gone. So
Shit.
I know.
I tell you what, though, it's been such a beautiful spring.
Been a
I
great
know we
spring.
had a ton of rain. I know we had storms, but it's been so moderate and so pretty for so long this year.
I will take spring storms all the time because that is really good for my yard, and that's
Why is
really.
the hail? I can pass on the hail.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want the hail. I don't want the wind. Certainly don't want any tornadoes.
Yeah,
But
don't need the tornado watcher warning, but you can bring me all the rain you want. That's fine. Bring it.
and you know what? I'll take it. My house has been nice. We've been getting plenty of rain. No hail damage to the roof. No hail
It
damage to
keeps
the
it
cars.
cool. The rain keeps everything cool.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It's been great. So enjoy the weather while it lasts. Get out to Olson and go enjoy some baseball this weekend. Support the ladies if you're over there in Athens. If you're not, just enjoy it on TV.
If not, they'll be home soon enough.
Yeah, one way or the other, you'll get a chance to watch the ladies play very quick. So I am Rob White. This is Roy May. We are the RedAss Podcast. Take care. Beat the ever-living hell out of South Carolina and the rest of the SEC tournament. Beat the hell out of Missouri. Take care. Gig 'em. We'll see y'all next time.